A pleasant good morning to you and welcome to this, your main newscast, right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. I am Josh Van Sleckman. These are the top stories we're tracking today. Suriname can access oil companies' accounts whenever it wants, while Guyana only permitted to audit once per year. Nigerian linked to $1.3 billion oil scandal set up shop in Guyana. And the giveaway of the Peters Hall land fired NISIL head Heath London remains in police custody. Australian accused of bribing Iraq government officials in multi-million oil contract. And a fourth breach for year, murder-accused prisoners use bedsheet to escape Lusignan prison. Get the details of these stories and much more when the news returns.
Kaieteur Radio, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And now for the news in detail. Suriname's petroleum laws mandate that its accounts and the representative of a state enterprise shall at all times have access to the facilities, equipment, activities, accounts, files, and registers that should be registers of any oil company. In similar terms, this means that Statoil, the state oil company of Suriname, possesses the authority to access any oil company's accounts, whether it wants. However, significantly, this important provision is absent from Guyana's contract. In fact, under the production chain agreement that ExxonMobil signed with the government of Guyana, the country has the right to audit the company's book. The contract states that the ministry may audit, examine, and verify at a reasonable time during normal business hours, but not more than one per calendar year. The PSA also states that at the conclusion of each audit, ExxonMobil and the government shall endeavor to settle outstanding matters, and a written report will be issued to the contractor within 60 days of the conclusion of such audit. Many Guyanese have read about Dan Ethi, the notorious former oil minister of Nigeria, who awarded himself a lucrative oil block via a company he secretly owned, as such of an elaborate $1.3 billion bribery scheme funded by super majors Royal Dutch Shell and Eni. Many are less aware of the involvement of the former oil minister's nephew, Ken Ethi. This rich oil tycoon was found by the Italian authorities to be a director of a company that received nearly 40% of the money. Now, he owns a company operating in Guyana called Century Tarma Energy Service Incorporated. At a Guyanese, Sheldon David is the country manager for this company. The company is part of the group of companies called Century Group, for which Ken Ethi is the CEO. We tell you now that former NISIL CEO Calvin Heath London has remained in police custody for his role in the alleged giveaway of prime state lands. Heath London arrest formed part of a probe led by Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Anil Nandlal in the sale of state lands during the tenure of the coalition government. According to information, Heath London was taken into custody on Friday over the weekend. The APNU AFC coalition condemned the detention of Heath London and have called for his immediate release. Though not a politician, Heath London, as well as former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan, were accused of playing primary roles in not just the giveaway of the lands at Peters Hall on the east bank of Demerara, but also at Ogle on the east coast of Demerara. A former construction giant executive took part in an elaborate conspiracy to bribe Iraq government officials, including their former deputy prime minister and two former oil ministers, to secure oil contract worth billions of dollars, police allege in court documents. Details of the allegations claiming an scandal were released by a man, Russell John Waugh, faced court last Wednesday on charges of foreign bribery. Officials from the Australian Federal Police swooped on his property that morning and escorted him in handcuffs. The magistrate approved the extradition and granted bail, with numerous conditions that include that he surrenders his passport and possesses only one mobile phone. 3 inmates yesterday used a string of bedsheet to escape from the Lusignan prison. Currently on the run are 48-year-old Philip Jagru, 18-year-old Mark Emmanuel, and 40-year-old Donald Baird. Jagru was remanded for allegedly killing a friend. According to the Guyana Police Service, that should be the Guyana Prison Service, Donald Baird, who was also on remand for murder, while the third escapee, Mark Emmanuel, was remanded for robbery. The Guyana Prison Service said that it is now pleading with family members and members of the public not to offer any support to the escapees, and if you see them or have any information on their whereabouts, please contact the nearest police station. You're listening to your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. The contractor of BK International Incorporated has finally vacated the worksite of the 827 million Yarkabur Secondary School. Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Anil Nandalal had terminated the contract with immediate effect some 21 days ago. In the termination letter, the AG had reminded BK International that it had a commitment, that they had committed a fraudulent breach on the terms of the contract, which resulted in the government exercising its rights to terminate the contract. In that same letter, the contractor was instructed to remove all personnel and machinery from the site. We tell you now that as SOCO continue their probe into the 150 million missing funds from the Finance Department of the Guyana Police Force Financial Unit, sources close to the investigations have revealed that the top brass officials may have played a role in the scandal. This information comes after 4 senior officers from the finance unit were sent on administrative leave pending the outcome of an ongoing audit. In fact, we were told that the rackets within the finance department has been many and spanned decades now. It involves procurement, repairs to vehicles, and a host of other expenditures. A 65-year-old pensioner, Anne Heldley, was held at knife point and robbed of her belongings at her central Amelia's Ward Linden home. The robbery, according to police, took place on Thursday at around 19:40. She reported that the back door was left open. It is there that the perpetrators gained entry into the house. One of the men allegedly held a knife to her, demanding that she hand over all the money. Afraid for her life, Headley took the bandits to the study room, and it was there that the man relieved her of a Samsung Galaxy S5 cellular phone, $187,170 in cash, and that was in the desk drawer. The money reportedly belongs to the South Amelia's Ward Wesleyan Church. Investigations are still ongoing. As the probe into the Peters Hall land giveaway scandal progresses, information emerging from the source inside the police force disclosed that PNCR member James Bond was fingered as the brains behind the operation. Both businessmen embroiled in the scandal, Life One Pharmaceutical Inc.'s director Alvan Jaganandan and director of A to Z Pharmaceutical Medical Supplies and Equipment, Eddie Dulal, were arrested and reportedly told investigators that it was Bond who facilitated the deal, which saw 30 acres of prime state lands being transferred to the Chinese national. Furthermore, the businessman reportedly also disclosed to police that it was Bond, not them, who received a hefty payoff from both dealers, amounting to more than $100 million. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. And finally, at this time, the UJ is seeking to soon physically reopen their Turkana and Berbice campuses to a limited student population, soon in light of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. It is understood that 95% of the university classes are currently being conducted online. However, the physical reopening will see students whose classes require some amount of practical work being able to access face-to-face classes. This fraction of the students include engineering students and those studying the sciences, which may require utilizing the labs and other facilities. And with that, we've come to the end of your morning newscast. Let's remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. Coming up shortly it will be time for the weekend review, where we recap all the top stories carried over the past week. I am Joshua Van Slykeman. Thank you for joining us.